Cloud. Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian beaches where it's raining at the moment on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Hooray, thank you, I love you. Aloha, Daniel. All right. So I have some juicy stuff today that's been sent to me. Did you have something you wanted to begin with? Oh, by the way, Lori Tibitot is my panelist. Hooray! Do you have something you'd like to begin with or anything you'd like to say?
No, go for it.
Okay. Let me adjust my camera a little bit.
But thank you.
How's that? Oh, thank you, Lori. I appreciate you.
Ditto.
Okay, so I'm going to go to my notes, see what I got. Some wild stuff. It's awesome. Oh shoot, where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. This is good stuff. I have a question about abuse. I think it's because of my awareness of the apparent sexually perverted culture we grew up in and that our kids are growing up in. Okay, so let's just get something really straight about that, okay? So the sexually perverted culture, or whatever culture we're perceiving, is within our mind. You can even, to go a little bit further than that, it's projected from our mind to outside of our mind, okay? A perverted culture has no place in a sane mind. In fact, not even a culture, because that's not really relevant. But perversion of any kind, that's a perception, and it has no place in a sane mind. It can only arise in an insane mind. So that's how you know the mind is insane, if you're perceiving that. That does not mean that you are guilty or anything like that. I mean, having the perception of it just means it's an opportunity to bring that darkness, that insanity, to awareness. Shed your light on it, so to speak, okay? No one's really in the culture. It looks like that, but no one's really in the culture. The culture is within consciousness, which is a projection of mind, okay? It would seem that now more than ever, that pedophilia is being pushed to be normal or accepted, okay? I suppose I've gathered this because of articles on the internet about sex trafficking and mind control. But also I started noticing this stuff many years ago after having a kid. That there were movies coming out at the time left me concerned about kids being brought up in this country, being abused or developing themselves predatorily, okay? And honestly, okay, something about her child and getting paranoid and worried about abusive things happening to her. And the dad is paranoid and worried too. Okay, so the paranoia and the worry, that's what is actually bringing the pedophilia and all that stuff back around again and again. It's projecting it. And you know, here's the thing. The paranoia and the worry and the concern and all of that about the different things that you perceive, those feelings aren't really about what's arising on the surface. Those feelings are coming from a self-belief, The basic self-belief is that you separated yourself from reality. And that's enough to make you paranoid and worried. And as you're feeling paranoid and worried, and you're believing it to be about society, you're believing it to be that it's because of society, like that's the cause of your paranoia and worry, that's projecting more of the same. Some of you may have seen how when you look at something like that, it seems to multiply more and more. Once you get worried about something in society, you seem to see it more and more, like it's growing. And that's because it's multiplying in our perception. And the whole world is a perception. Also, everyone is having a subjective perception. Everyone is having a subjective perception. So while, you know, the person who wrote this to me and her husband or her ex-husband or whatever might be having this kind of perception, like paranoia about all this sex trafficking and pedophilia and stuff like that. That's not how it is for everyone. That's not how it is for everyone. You know, I mean, from my point of view, that kind of thing is like very low. It barely comes up. I mean, something like this, yes. I've seen the news recently about that dude Epstein. I mean, that's like really out there in the news. But, you know, I don't get worked up about it. So it's not something that really comes into my experience a lot. And I have kids. But I don't get worked up about it because I know that it's coming from me. That's the whole thing. It comes back down to the world is coming from your own mind. Everyone's perception of the world is unique. Okay? No one shares the same perception, and it's coming out of your mind. And anything that's perceived is there for you to help you undo that self-belief, the hidden self-belief, the belief that you separated yourself from reality, because the whole world is set up to prove that you're correct, that you actually did separate yourself from reality, which is a totally insane belief. It's not possible to separate yourself from reality. You wouldn't be able to have any kind of experience if you had separated yourself from reality. So just the fact that you can have a perception, an experience, it seems like you're breathing, you know, it seems like you have a body. You're definitely not separated from reality. It's not possible, okay? It's just that you feel separate from reality because of believing that you actually did separate from reality. And the paranoia is that there's fear of losing this image, this body image in this world. And that's why there's fear of death, okay? That's where that comes up. The paranoia is fear of losing this because it seems like what's beyond this is oblivion. Oblivion, nothing else. You know, so people come up with ideas like having another life, the next lifetime and stuff like that. And the thing is, even all the lifetimes, they're all just a projection of the mind too. They're completely meaningless. What's beyond this though, what's beyond all the lifetimes is reality. Okay, that's reality. And you could say our function in being apparently in an apparent world where there seems to be sex trafficking and stuff like that is for undoing the self-belief that's causing it. See, undoing the self-belief that's causing it so that it's no longer a necessary thing. In fact, it's not really happening. That's an interesting point too. It's not really happening. It's imagined to be happening because of a secret wish to have a world to replace the world we thought we threw away. It's only imagined to be happening. Now, people ask me all the time, well, what do you do? What do you do then? Well, you do whatever you are made to do because you don't really do anything. You're not really capable of doing anything. So it's not about saying, I'm not going to do anything, because that's another form of control. And it's not about saying, I am going to do anything, because that's a form of control. You're just watching. The doing is automatic. The doing is totally automatic. You know, it is, you know, for me, I'm certain that I will be made to move in whatever way is necessary for undoing the guilty self-belief. And that's everything. That's everyone. Everyone is being made to move in whatever manner is necessary, whatever manner serves undoing that guilty self-belief. And you know, when we've been led by the ego deep into delusion, where it seems like all of this stuff is happening in the world, then, you know, we get more and more and more of that. And there's a good reason for it. And that's to bring up the suffering that's necessary to say, there must be a better way. There must be a better way than this. See? It's all a benefit. It's all a benefit. And then that's not to say that I don't feel sad when I hear a story about someone about someone being molested or something like that. It's just that I know that that feeling of sadness is my own projection. See? So I can deal with, so to speak, that sense of sadness without projecting it and making more of the same. Okay? Bob Shine, I got a hand. Let's put him on. You are permitted to talk, Bob.
Oh, thank you for your permission. Can you hear me?
Do you want to be on camera too?
Would you like to see me? Yes.
Oh, I'd love to see you. It's hot today, huh, Bob?
It's hot here too.
Oh, okay. We're hot all around. We're some hot peeps.
So, Hope, did you?
All right, there I am.
There you are, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
The terrific trio on top again.
On top again.
Yes, here on top of the world. So now a lot of people talk about pedophilia, child molesting, that many of them themselves were molested. People who are into like the porno industry or stripping were sexually molested. Children who got no love, no sensitivity, who were treated callously and indifferently and abused, and that's unhealed in them, and so they pass it on. They become desensitized to other people's pain and suffering, and they have been abused and sexually molested, so that's unhealed. So then they end up inflicting the same damage onto others that was done to them. So
Sure.
There's a lot of people believe that that's kind of an aspect of this problem.
Well, I could see how that would play out, you know, if you think that it really did happen to you. That's the thing. That's what's big. And, you know, for me, I have the perception and experience of going through those kinds of things as a child too. It's just that there's no history. There's really no history. There's no past. There's no past. So if you believe that it did happen, if you believe that it actually did happen to you, then you'll repress it, you know, you'll want to hide it. For a lot of people, they want to hide it. A lot of people don't show it. They hide it and repress that pain. And the pain comes up in a way where there's this apparent need to hurt people. See? So it comes down to recognize, everything gets healed by recognizing what's true. Everything gets healed that way. When you recognize nothing happened, that's a true forgiveness. It's like nothing happened. And the way to recognizing that is to get the feeling effect of it, to really get the feeling effect of it, you know. And when you find your mind projecting as if it actually happened, here's how you know if you're projecting as if it actually happened. You feel anger toward the person. You feel anger toward the person. I used to feel anger toward people before I realized what was going on. I would feel anger toward people from my childhood. I'd feel this hot kind of anger feeling, sometimes where I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be up with the anger, thinking about bad things happening to them, you know. And once I recognized, oh my goodness, I'm projecting all of it, then it was time for that anger to represent itself. And when it did represent itself like that, it was able to get healed. Like every time it would come up, there would be the recognition, I'm making this up. Whatever the past, whatever seems to have happened in the past, it's being projected right now, and it's being projected to support, only to support the belief that we separated ourselves from reality. Remember the circle I made? I keep on seeing that circle where it's like, here's the self-belief hidden down below. Then there's a feeling kind of hidden. You can't see it, but you can feel it. And then there's the thought projection. And when you feed the thought projection, it gets some momentum and goes down here, feeds the self-belief again. Okay? And that's what upholds the whole world. That's what upholds the whole world. So it's like, wow, I'm upholding the world right now by making this thing true. So I would go to the feeling until it's completely healed, until, you know, the thought of it, it's not like I can't think of it. The thought of it arises, but it has no emotional charge in me anymore. See? And that's really the work, to eliminate that, eliminating that charge, that emotional charge to it that makes it feel as if you are a victim. Because as long as you're projecting as if you've been a victim, you're making more images of victimhood. And that's what seems to be going on. It's like it's like so common for people to play the victim. It's so common. And, myself included, I'll find myself playing the victim sometimes and, recognizing that, oh my goodness, I'm projecting this, and keep on getting the feeling effect of it until it works itself out. And, there's not really a time limit on that, but the looking is what allows that process to unfold, allows it to get to be undone. And also, if you find yourself projecting, it's okay. You find yourself projecting, if you recognize that it's all for a benefit, even while you're projecting, you don't have to be scared of it. Okay, it's not like, oh no, I'm projecting, I'm screwing it up, I'm making more bad things happen in the world. It's more like, oh, thank goodness this is arising. I seem to be stuck in it right now. I know this is for a benefit. See, that changes the whole energy of it. That makes it lose its teeth. Okay. It can't go back around. It can't go back around and project more while you have your eye on it like that, even if you find yourself projecting. But what people seem to do is go back to guilt again and go, oh my gosh, I'm doing it wrong because I'm projecting right now. I'm feeling anger and I'm expressing anger and I must be screwing up. You're never screwing up. You can't, because you're watching a movie. It's like watching a movie. You cannot get it wrong. Okay. So any kind of expression of sadness or anger, if you have your eye on it and you're noticing what it is, you're going to be able to prevent it from feeding that guilty self-belief again. And you can say that, you can say that's only because you're identifying as who you really are, even as you're projecting. You're really identifying as who you really are. So then the projecting doesn't have any power. It's like you've reclaimed your power from that projecting already, and it can go on and play out in your mind, but it's not going anywhere unless you're believing I'm screwing up right now. Okay? And even if you are projecting in a way that's feeding that guilty self-belief, you are not screwing up. You are not screwing up. You are learning, okay? You are learning. There's no screwing up for you at all. There's no screwing up. No one is touched by this illusion. No one is touched. In reality, this illusion is completely nothing. It'll be completely forgotten. It's really nothing. It's kind of like a teaching, learning ground just for restoring our shared mind to sanity, so we find ourselves back in heaven where we really are. I was going to say where we belong, but yeah, of course we belong there because we're there. That's the thing. Okay, so
yeah. Well, the thing is that you're talking about getting in touch with feelings. That this is the key to healing, is healing, but the problem with sex abusers is that they're not feeling, that they're numb, they've been cut off from their feelings, and so they need some kind of perversion to feel. They need to see someone in panic and fear to feel, because they're afraid of their feelings. They've been hurt. They're afraid to feel their hurt. And so then they go on in projecting and generating more hurt because they're afraid of feeling. They don't want to feel. They're numb. They're anesthetized. And that's why they can rape and see horrors and people in agony and suffering, because they're anesthetized. They have no feeling.
Okay. And anyone who comes into any kind of contact, even to have the perception of them, even like myself, I said I had the perception of a news a news thing on Facebook or somewhere about that dude Epstein. I guess he's a big wig guy that's been having affairs with all kinds of underage people. You know, whenever we have any perception of them, it's kind of like we are in a dance with them. So it's like, what can you do? What can you do? You can go to compassion right now for the feeling that's arising in you. So it's not like, you know, when I see that, I don't feel a sense of a sadness or something. But when that sadness arises, in knowing that it's my projection, like whatever I'm perceiving of him and his and whatever he seems to have done, that's coming from my mind. So in healing it, in healing it here, it also affects what seems to be over there, because that is me, like he is me, you see. And the same thing if I happen to be in close proximity with someone that, you know, seems to be a predator. And I've had that experience a bunch of times. You know, people will say, why do you hang out with that guy? You better be careful. He's a total predator. And I'm like, oh yeah, not with me though. That's not going down. There's no way that's going down, because I won't see him that way. I will only see him for who he is. I refuse to see him that way. And, you know, even though I can't physically make that interpretation that he actually is me, like I can't, if I physically, I see him as a body over there. It's like with that singular eye, what some people call the third eye, I know that I'm making him up. I'm making him out to be that way if I'm thinking about him like that. And when I've had experiences, one was that one appeared, and it always is an appearance. One appeared to be a near rape experience, and one just appeared to be someone who was putting some kind of pressure on me. It's like when I go back to, this is not reality. This is something that I'm making up. This is something that I have dominion over, and I'm really certain about that. Nothing can go down. Nothing can happen. I've seen the shift right mid, oh my God, these guys are about ready to pounce. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. And then watch the shifts, watch the eyes change, the facial structure change, everything changes instantly. Aloha, Crunchy. I love you. Thank you for being on, my darling. Yay.
Yeah, well, I've heard of people that had like spiritual experiences getting raped, to where, okay, you know, it's like the guy is, you know, pulling her clothes off and tying her up, and all of a sudden she's like released and feels tremendous love, and is telling the rapist, oh, that's okay, you know, I understand, and kind of feeling his face. And then he's saying, oh, aren't you afraid? And she says, no, you know, she just has this complete compassion. And then the guy breaks out in tears and starts crying, and, you know, lets her go and everything. So it's like, it's the key to feeling is, am I feeling?
Yes.
That's all that has to happen is, am I feeling, and am I feeling love for these apparent rape, molestation perpetrators, or am I making them guilty, projecting my guilt onto them and wanting them to be imprisoned, or, you know, whatever, their dicks cut off, or whatever everyone thinks should happen to them.
Sure.
So yeah, so
that's
it's
all
just
making
like
more. It's all making more of the same. What were you going to say?
Right. Right. It's just perpetuating the guilt, because that's what it's all about. It's just more guilt making instead of love making. Yes.
Yes, of course. And, you know, like I shared maybe a couple of weeks ago in Wisdom Dialogues in person, that, you know, it's like everyone that you even think of or seems to approach you in person or anything like that, is asking you to show them their innocence. You know, and because of the fact that you are innocent, you have the power to show them your innocence. But the insane mind has most people convinced that they are guilty. And a lot of people aren't even aware that they have this underlying belief that they're guilty. But there's this conscious, it's totally conscious. effort to avoid that guilty feeling by projecting it outward and making it appear as if the guilt is in the world somewhere. Okay.
Mm.
Cranking
Yes.
off with their dicks. Gosh.
So then there's the movie Frankenstein. So the horrible monster Frankenstein that is killing people and creating havoc. Well, in the movie, Frankenstein meets a little girl. And the little girl doesn't know Frankenstein's a monster, and she invites Frankenstein to play with her, and he's playing with the little girl, and he's nice and friendly, but then the people come with the torches, and then he has to run away and become a monster, and then he comes to a blind man. And the blind man doesn't see he's a monster, and he invites Frankenstein to come to his fire and have a smoke and everything. So it's like he saw the innocence. He didn't project any blame or evil on Frankenstein. They saw him as innocent as they were, and Frankenstein behaved in a kind, gentle manner to them.
Yep, that's a good illustration. Really good illustration.
Yeah, that's it.
I see your hand there, Thomas. I'm gonna bring you on now. Thomas, you are permitted to talk. I love that. I love that. So funny. You are now permitted to talk.
Okay.
The gag is off.
So good. So hi, Hope. I'm listening from Colorado, and it's like 7:30 here.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah. So what I want to say is this owning the feeling or diving into the feeling is really coming up for me all over the place. Different teachers, and I'm starting to get that owning the feeling is like it interrupts the story because the story is out there, and by owning the feeling, I'm in here, and it's not about there's nobody out there, so I'm really getting this, and that guilt is like the opposite of owning the feeling. It takes me to hell, like automatically, and so I'm really excited. I'm really starting to get this owning the feeling.
I'm super excited for you. I felt that, when you see where it's going, like when you said it's taking me to hell, and that's exactly what's going on. When you just deny that feeling and project thoughts instead, that's exactly what's going on. It's like you're leading yourself in thought to hell. And when you see that, when you see that that's what's going on, you can't keep on projecting.
Right. Well, it's interesting. I've been doing it lately where I own the feeling, I dive into it, and it doesn't change anything. But right now I'm getting that I'm just with me in that moment. And I'm not out in that story any longer.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I know. I love that. It's like it becomes so obvious that you are nowhere in the world. You're just not. You're not. You're not in the world.
Right. Those feelings are mine, and it's not theirs. It's not anybody else's.
Yes.
It takes away the story. I'm really starting to get this.
I'm super excited. Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah.
All right. Well, raise your hand again if you want to come on again. I'm going to go on with this email that I have.
Okay. Thank you, Hope.
I love you.
I love you too.
Oh, he's so sweet. So good to hear his voice. He usually comes to Wisdom Dialogues in person, but he's on the mainland right now. I'm so glad he's joining. Okay. So we were at, let's see, sort of paranoid, worried. My point is that for several months now, I've had a mixture of freedom and torment from my own mind. That's where it comes from, all freedom and torment. Yeah. Heaven and hell. and had been looking for some clear direction or remedy that would support what I really think we all desire. Good. And, and I'm pretty sure that if you're open to it and you watch this video, you're not on right now, but if you watch this video, maybe you're going to get what you're looking for. Okay. So tuning into your teachings last month has helped me understand what I was asking about, but I'm curious, how do you compassionately tell someone? This is the good part. How do you compassionately tell someone or teach people that if they were abused or their family friend was abused or any stage of mass abuse happened because they wanted it. Okay, here's the thing. You don't teach anyone anything. You don't teach anyone anything. Isn't that awesome? You don't. You're teaching your own mind. You're always teaching your own mind. That's why, the guidance, since the guidance is here, right here in the present moment, only in the present moment, that's where you go. When you go to compassion for the feeling that's arising within you right now, you know exactly what to say and when. And you know by their reaction to what you said, what kind of track you're on. You can tell by their reaction to what you said, what kind of track you're on. You'll get really good at this. You'll start to see it. Maybe something will come out of your mouth and you'll sense it. You'll see like the look in their eyes or whatever. And it's like the ego will want you to go forward with that and just pound this kind of concept into them. Just keep pounding the concept into them. But when you sense that there's a wall going up, and there's defensiveness arising, that's also coming up. That's also a projection of a feeling that's arising with it in you. It doesn't mean that you are something bad or guilty or anything like that. Some people go, don't show me that bad reflection. I don't want to see it, but it's like, yes, show me. I want to see it because I'm the one who can bring the light to it. See? So when someone shows you a reflection, reveals a reflection to you, and you go to the compassion within your body's energy field, you know just what to say, you know just what needs to be shared, okay? And if you're not allowing compassion for yourself, you're going to be pounding in some kind of concept, trying to get them to believe some kind of concept, and they're not going to like that. That doesn't sound good to a lot of people. So they go, oh, you were abused because you wanted it to happen. Okay, it doesn't sound good to a lot of people. To me, it sounds great. But for my own self, it sounds great. It sounds great to me. I'm so glad that it only occurred because I wanted it to occur. And here's the thing: it didn't happen. See, it happened because they wanted it. It didn't really happen. It occurred. It's actually occurring to you right now because there's only now. It's occurring to you right now that it happened in the past. Because you want that right now, because you want to escape from a guilty self-belief right now, just right now. It never happened. It never happened. Nothing happens. It's imagination. Imagination, this imagined world doesn't have a past or a future. It doesn't really have a past or a future. It's only imagined right now. It's one moment unfolding. So if I'm projecting it right now, like if I'm having the perception of that Epstein dude right now, it's because I want it. See, I want it right now. And why do I want it? Because I know that when it comes into my awareness, that's how it gets healed. That's how I help to heal that guilty self-belief that's causing this whole world to be made manifest. And who really wants the world to be made manifest? The ego. The ego. You could say that you do but only because of following the ego's guidance, which you made up. You made up only by following the ego's guidance. And you've only been following the ego's guidance because you were afraid that you were unworthy of reality, and you were subject to certain death if you don't hide in this world. This world is like a hiding place. Not really hiding from anything, but you could say you're hiding all of your perceptions from reality. Reality does not know of your perceptions. You could say God is reality. Does not know of your meaningless perceptions. A perception of having this body, sitting here, being on Facebook and Zoom, everything like that. It's a perceived meaningless world, and the only purpose of it is to undo what's causing it. Okay? So I love to hear that, but I don't go around telling people. I don't find myself going around telling people unless I'm led to. We're always being guided by one guide or the other, but like I like to say, the good guide, and we get to start telling the difference between which one is guiding us. Which one is it, the ego or is it the spirit? We could tell the difference because when you're following with the Spirit, you're feeling open. You're feeling an open feeling, not a nervous, tense, wanting to get some information to someone kind of feeling. It's an open, receptive way, okay? I've been studying a spiritual tradition that's big on karma and reincarnation. So do you really purify your karma completely? Well, okay, so let's go to the concepts first of karma and reincarnation, okay? All the concepts are meaningless. That's including karma and reincarnation. These concepts are completely meaningless. So it's just a matter of what are you using them for? All concepts. What are you using them for? Are you using them to keep on making this illusion true and uphold this illusion, or are you using them to undo it? Okay. So can you really purify your karma? Well, there isn't any karma really. There isn't really any karma. There isn't really any reincarnation either, because there's not even really this life. There's not even really this life. So that's why, it's not true or false. It's not true or false, really. It's just an illusion, okay? So
it just perpetuates death.
Yes, that's right.
Incarnation that you die and then you reborn. It just perpetuates more belief in death.
Yes. But if you're using it to say, like, purify your karma, and that's synonymous with getting to that guilty self-belief that's before this illusion, that comes before this illusion. It's the belief of separation. That's what makes this appearance of karma. The belief in separation is just a belief that there's separation. Because there's a belief in separation, there's an appearance of a whole world and a life. And of course, you start to extrapolate on that. And there's all these different lives of reincarnation and karma and all this different stuff. If you're using that concept of purify your karma as in, okay, I'm getting that feeling effect and not projecting. But if you're projecting that you have karma to purify, if you have some karma to purify, that's actually upholding the guilty self-belief, okay? You don't have any karma to purify. I'll tell you that right now. But, you can use that concept, though. You can use that concept, though, if it's valuable, if it's functional. If it's not functional, then you're using that to perpetuate the guilty self-belief, then it's not really working in your favor, If you're using it to perpetuate, as in, I have this karma that I have to purify, there really isn't any karma, because that, that kind of signifies that there's a past, or there's some kind of an actual building up of something that now you have to build back down. Okay. Didn't happen. So, completely and quickly, by focusing on the truth in all moments, even if it doesn't resonate with everyone, because of the levels they might be on. Okay, here's the thing. There isn't anyone else. So see how this whole question is coming. Do you really purify your karma completely and quickly by focusing on the truth in all moments, even if it doesn't resonate with everyone because of the levels they might be on? That is also, it has to come back to, you're not seeing them as they are. No one is on different levels. Everyone that you perceive, you're having a misperception. You're not seeing them as they are. You're seeing them as you want to see them. Okay? So anyone who seems to be on a different level, you're seeing them that way because you want to see them. Why do you want to see them like that again? You want to see them like that because it causes a feeling to arise within you. It causes a feeling to arise within you that's based on your own mistaken self-belief. When that feeling arises in you, that's your opportunity. That's your opportunity to get the effect of that feeling and stop projecting as if there are people outside of you. I said it yesterday. I'm going to say it again. It's funny. It's a funny way to say it, but this is the way it came up. It's like, and someone's saying something to you, you can just visualize. You got your hand up their ass and you're talking with your like that. Like that. Okay? That's one way. Hey, if that doesn't resonate with you or that's too nasty or anything, forget about it. I just thought it was funny.
That's a good one.
Ventriloquist puppet, huh?
Yeah. But you know, that's really, you know, it's more like that. It's more like that. Let's say, you know, it's all symbols. It's all symbolic. And the more fun you can have with it, the better. The more fun you can have with it, the better. Okay. So whatever's fun for you. You can also look at it as you agreed to it with them. You agreed to it with them. You said, hey, I would really like to get this feeling. Will you say this to me so I can think you're on a different level than me? Or I can think you want to rape me or something like that. Will you say that to me so I can get that effect, so I can see through it? You know, it's kind of like that. Okay. What were you going to say, Bob?
Well, some people talk about karma as like, as you sow, you reap, as you reap, you sow. So if you're dwelling and thinking negativity, and we're talking about fear of pedophilia and all this kind of stuff, then that's what you reap in your life, that you project it out in front of you and then you step into it.
Yes,
basically.
that's right.
So
yes.
that's kind of what some people think of as karma.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter the concept of the concept itself. It's just a matter of what is it for? What is it being used for? See, in this particular one, it's about, you know, it's talking about how different people at different levels. So it's like immediately, you know, when that question comes up, it's asking as if there are people on different levels. It's like, yes, to answer this question here is that yes, you can always make the choice for the truth, no matter what you're perceiving, including perceiving that people don't resonate with it and they're on different levels. Okay. Does not mean that that's, you know, and you could tell if you're practicing well that, you know, the people aren't going to be reacting to you as if you're being rude or anything, because this is inside work. It doesn't have anything to do with telling people what's what and trying to change their mind. Okay. So if they tell you something like you're being offensive or something like that, just say thank you. There's no need to argue about that.
Yeah. So there's the Christ level. And that's the true level of everyone. So Christ, he was with murderers, prostitutes, thieves, and then he was with the scribes and Pharisees. He was with the Caesar. He's with the most high up, powerful, and the lowest, most debased. But what healed or transformed them was that he saw them only on one level, his level.
Yes.
Child of the Father, one with God, and that's what healed and multiplied loaves and fishes and raised the dead and everything else, because he saw everything on his Christ level, and that's the real level.
Yes, and you could say everyone is your teacher in that they're teaching you how to undo that guilty self-belief. So you don't have to act like you're the teacher of anyone. And then when you're not the teacher, then you're not gonna feel like you have to impart some kind of wisdom on someone.
Right. Well, everyone's you're the student always.
Always, yes.
You're not the master. You're the servant.
Yes, and you're always you're always teaching yourself, though. Every word that you say, everything is always teaching yourself, teaching your own mind.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that's the Christ level, the one self.
Got it, Bob. Yeah.
Hope, did you ever, in the beginning, say to yourself, when you were in the middle of something and getting the feeling, nothing's happening, nothing's happened, nothing's happened?
Possibly. I don't have a recollection of that. You know, I usually find myself saying, I'm making this up.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I'm making this up.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. Also, this is a benefit.
What?
This is a benefit.
This is a benefit.
This is a benefit. Because that changes it. You know, that really shifts it. It's like, this is a benefit. Whatever it seems to be, whether even if I seem to be projecting an anger, you know, this is a benefit. It's just the idea that something's wrong that takes you for a loop.
Right. I've been going for a loop of the future, fear of the future. And it actually, the heat and the body and all of that.
Good.
Yeah.
Very healing. It's a big benefit. That's why I always say good. I always say hooray when people tell me they're going through something, because it's such a benefit.
Yeah, it's really big right now. Really big. Wow.
Okay. Great. That's a breakthrough.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing you so much clearer today. I mean, it's resonating deeper, everything you're saying. It's not like superficial.
Yes.
It seems to be going deeper. It seems to be heard differently, clearer.
Yes.
Deeper, yeah.
Because you're getting the experience with it. It's one thing to hear the concepts and go, okay, I resonate with those concepts. But when you have the experience of all this fear coming up, and then you apply the concepts, you could say you like bring that fear to those concepts, you know, and then it sinks deeper. It's more like it goes into the heart, and you're opening up. You're really opening up, and that's where the integration happens. But you know, it's like you prevent, or you could say delay, the integration from happening whenever you agree with the thought that says this is bad, this shouldn't be happening. How do I get out of this?
Right. I've been searching for something, listening to past ones, and then today I was just like, nope, because I see I'm going out. I had to soothe it. No.
Yeah, perfect. And even when you see yourself going out, this is a benefit again.
Okay.
Aloha, Raz. I love you. Thank you for joining.
Hi, Raz.
Christine's got a question here. Thank you for letting me know, Christine, that you sent a question on the Q&A, because I did not see it. I'm just crying all the time. Sometimes it's a thought or song or something someone says. Lots of old memories popping up from the past, things I didn't even know I remembered. I love it when that happens. Feeling like my skin is very thin, very sensitive. What's up with that? Well, you know, it's a benefit. Oh, now she chatted me. She said, you answered my question. It's a benefit. Oh my goodness. Yay. That's the thing. That's the thing. It's like looking at it as as if it's a problem that needs to be fixed, when actually it's a benefit, you know. And and then when you find yourself crying, that crying is very healing, because you're not overlaying it with a thought that says, this is bad and I need to find out how to get out of this. I need to find out how to get better from this, you know. But even as you are going, this is a problem, I need to find out how to get better from this, you can also take a step back from that and realize even this is a benefit. Even the going out and trying to get a solution for this apparent problem, it's a benefit, because it all serves the same purpose. And you know, that brings you back very quickly. It brings you back very quickly, because that's like bringing that thing to what's really true, and that's how it gets resolved. And you know, pay attention to how you feel. You'll watch this crying and sadness and stuff with the projection that the crying and sadness is wrong. Very different from feeling that it's a benefit. Oh, thank you. You know, I'll find myself saying thank you, especially when I get the perception, oh my God, I screwed up. I just projected in anger. I just found myself projecting in anger. And it'll be like, oh my goodness, that is a benefit. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you. You know, like, you know, one thing that's pretty common for me is just thank you, Jesus. That's just like kind of natural for me. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for this. Whatever it happens to be. Thank you. It doesn't matter who you're thanking. We're all one. It's not like we're separate from anyone. Okay. Raz. I don't know. I think it's Raz.
Raz.
Okay. That sounded right. Unfortunately, I can't stay as connected as I have an appointment, but thought I'd tune in. Oh, I love you. Thank you for coming on for that infinite minute. So sweet. You're with us the whole time, no matter what. We love you.
Sweetheart.
He said, love you too. Okay. So, okay, back to this email now, because this is a long one and it's a good one. All right. So purifying karma, we did that. It's a confusing question to put into words. Sometimes I hear that you're saying people can't do anything wrong because choice is an illusion, okay? And so I wonder if people take it virtuously or if they think that means they can deflect everything they did that others perceive to be something they should feel guilt, remorse for. Well, you know, they'll take it whatever way they need to take it. And that's nothing to get concerned about. That's really nothing to get concerned about. That's just some more fear coming up. Oh my God, she's saying that. That just means that people are going to take advantage of people and they're going to say, well, Hope said nothing happened. So I could just like keep on taking advantage of people. They're going to hear it exactly the way they need to, and they don't have any power over you. No one has any power over you. So it's not anything to be fearful about. That fear that's coming up is really just to try to prevent you from getting it. That's to prevent you from getting it. Oh no, this is dangerous. You know, sometimes people will think what I'm saying is dangerous, okay? And just thinking what I'm saying is dangerous is a defense. Because you don't want to get it for yourself. You could say you just don't want to get it because that means that your world will collapse. That everything that you know, the way you perceive yourself, it'll completely collapse if you get this. So naturally, there's going to be all kinds of defensiveness, and that's one of them. That people are going to take this the wrong way. Oh, well, since nothing happened, I could just go out and like it's a video game, like Grand Theft Auto, and I could just be chopping off heads and stuff like that, you know. So fun. but you know, it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. Because it's for pretending like there's a reason for you not to get it. Okay, like there's a valid reason. Okay, I am able to trace within myself that perhaps I feel strongly concerned about others understanding the message because I hold feeling of guilt and rejection in myself. Oh, she already knows. This is awesome. Or anger towards people I perceive to be damaging. Yeah, it's like, you know, the people that you want to feel that guilt or rejection, it's as if they feel guilty or remorse, that's going to prevent them from doing more. Nothing can be further from the truth. You know, taking on guilt and remorse will make people can't help it. They wonder why, you know, why do I keep on doing the same thing over and over again? You know, I feel really guilty about it because it's a projection of that guilty thing. So the last thing you want is for someone who seems to be violent or something like that to feel guilty about it, because that just projects more of the same, whether through their apparent physical body or just into the world in general. Okay, so it's like these people who you perceive as doing something, they are you coming to you asking for that gift of innocence that you can give, only you can give from your perception, only you can give that gift of innocence. And really that's about having compassion for yourself. So this woman hits the nail right on the head when she talks about, I'm holding feelings of guilt and rejection for myself or anger, and that's why I'm projecting them outwards. That's right. It's like you want to perceive these people of not getting it the right way, and now they're going to act out in violence. It's also from one of my desires or interests of reaching people publicly that are used to different terminology or wouldn't otherwise be drawn to waking up. Great, great. That'll come just naturally as a matter of course. That'll come just naturally, and you're on track. You're totally on track, and getting it, and it's all a benefit. Okay. Okay. Other than that, this is a personal question. Oh, it's a personal question. How fun. Good thing there's no person over here. Since your sons were unschooled gamers, yes, unschooled gamers, did you or do you have some kind of internet regulations? No, I haven't seen a need for that. And in fact, I don't put regulations. I don't find myself putting, not that I could at any time put regulations on anyone for reals, but I don't find myself putting regulations on anyone, including my children, because I don't see a need for myself to be regulated. That's just the way that works. If I see a need for myself to be regulated as if I could get it wrong or do it wrong, then that's going to be projected for other people as well. Okay? Like, are certain kinds of websites blocked? Are there household rules? No, nothing like that. I realize that our kids are approaching age of potentially finding pornography, and I know lots of adults that got super into it at 11 and 12, and I can't say they're bad people or anything, but I wonder if it preserves innocence. Okay, because my book is called Protecting Innocence. Okay, protecting innocence. So she's saying, I wonder if it preserves innocence for kids to not investigate it or be influenced it from such a young age. Well, that really has nothing to do with protecting or preserving innocence. That has nothing to do with it. Controlling them is kind of the opposite of that. It's saying that your innocence is lost. So now, you can't do that. Or another way of looking at it, your inner innocence is in danger of being lost. Like, if you got into this, it would be a bad thing. That would make you into a bad person. So that's the opposite of protecting innocence. It's making it as if they can act in any way in the world and somehow be a bad person or do it wrong or be stained or marred in some way. Okay, so whatever it is that needs to play out, it's a great time to play it out when they're 11 or 12 or any age, without any guilt, without any guilty projections. If they're not getting guilty projections about it, that stuff is just going to run its course and be no big deal. But where it becomes a big deal and people get into becoming sinister about it or obsessive about it or apparently addictive with it, that is from guilt. That is from guilt. So we can protect the innocence of children by not making it as if something is wrong, like something that they do could be wrong. So putting restrictions on them and stuff like that. Oh, my boys have been totally able. They were the ones who were unschooled gamers. And they have been totally able to have access to any websites they want. They may or may not have been involved with any kind of pornography or stuff like that. I'm not trying to get all nosy or anything and try to get all up in their business either. If they close their door and they want to be on their computer by themselves, I don't have any problem with that. There's no issue with that. They can have that anytime they want. When there's a clear and pure connection with them, as in non-projecting toward them, they feel open with you and they can communicate with you anything that they need, anything that they feel confused about, knowing that they're not going to get some kind of judgment from you or some kind of rule or some kind of advice to try to be an upstanding and good person, which is not relevant at all, because that's not what this is for. You go back to, this is for undoing the guilty self-belief. It's like your only function here is to reveal innocence and not anything else. And on the same token, that means if you find yourself putting rules or anything like that, you're totally innocent in that. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just a matter of watching. You're just watching. How does this feel? What's motivating this? What is motivating me putting rules on? How does it feel? That's all. Just keep on going back and being honest again and again. This is not about trying to control your actions or adopting some kind of set of actions that's good. When I see where the actions are coming from, they automatically change. Sometimes over time they change. Sometimes it takes time, okay? In the beginning, I used to prod my young son and tell him, hey, you need to go outside and get some sun and stuff like that. And then because he'd be on the internet for a long time. And after a while of seeing where that was coming from, what was motivating it, there was just no need for it anymore. It's not like I said I shouldn't be doing that anymore. It was just like there wasn't any drive. There wasn't anything driving me to try to do that. That was just a fearful feeling playing out. I noticed that it was this fearful feeling playing out, y'all. So it's just about looking and not trying to also guilt yourself for anything. A lot of people will tell me, "Oh, I cannot be as open as you are," and I'll go, "That's okay." You know, to get to the point of being this open, there was also a lot of showing up for these ideas that I was doing it wrong, and having self-compassion. You know, because as long as you think you're doing it wrong, change is being held off. It's like it's being delayed. You're not doing it wrong. The innocence comes from within your own mind, and then it's extended outward. Okay? So it's for yourself first, and it's that feeling that maybe you got it wrong. Oh, even the questioning, did you get that wrong? It's like all the same thing. Let it come back to what's making this arise, and it's a benefit. Okay? Yay.
But the problem is that your approach to that of looking innocently is very rare. Most everyone who grows up is given guilt and shame about sexuality and self-pleasure and premarital sex and all the rest of it. And so then it's made into a sin, it's made into a crime. If you don't confess, if you're Catholic, you don't confess you masturbated, then you're going to hell for sure, because that's a mortal sin, and premarital sex is a mortal sin. So the whole sexual milieu seems to revolve around this guilt and shame and punishment, and the very thing that gives us life, love and sexuality, is the thing that most people think is the most horrible sin. This guy Epstein and these people who are into child slavery, most people consider that to be the most vile sin. Okay. And so then sex, which is the most beautiful, natural, healthy, life-giving force, the whole universe is kind of a sexual universe.
Okay, wait a second. I have to stop you there, Bob. I have to stop you,
go.
Bob, because that's making illusions true. Sex is nothing. Remember the show we did called Sex and Sandwiches? It's nothing. It's totally equal to everything else, okay? So in pulling sex out like that and singling out like that and saying this is the most beautiful thing in the illusion, it's just the illusion. It's just the illusion. And the thing is, the way to healing is always in seeing that the illusion is one thing. It's all one thing, including sex. It's not beautiful and it's not ugly. It's not either. Those would be a judgment. It's actually nothing. It actually does not matter. It's in making it matter. It's making the illusion stronger. It's making the illusion more powerful. It's not a sexual universe, except maybe in your perception that you're making that up for yourself right now. The universe is only just a projection. It's not anything more than a projection. It's not a sexual, it's not asexual, whatever. I've seen it on both sides, where, taking the idea that it's a beautiful thing and it's a terrible thing and we shouldn't do it. It's just nothing. And in fact, since you are not in the illusion, any sex that arises for you, any sex that arises in your consciousness is only all for the same thing. It's not for making it meaningful. Do you see what I mean by that?
Oh yeah, I see. Everything is neutral.
Yeah, so when you take one thing out, and make it as if it's something meaningful, that upholds this whole world. It's not right or wrong. You can do it all you want. I love you. We're on Wisdom Dialogues, though, and this is about undoing the illusion, not making it more true in our minds.
Yeah. Nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So it's all, thinking. basically.
Yes, yes, it's thinking about it. It's thinking about sex in a way, and you know, I could see why that would. Oh, here comes Thomas again. I'll get right to you, Thomas. I could see how that would be something for, especially if you were told when you were a child that sexual things were bad. You were held guilty as a child. You have the experience of feeling guilty as a child, where you're going to go to the opposite. No, sex is beautiful. The whole universe is based on sex and stuff like that. See, that's just going to the opposite of it, but it's still making sex as if it's something. It's nothing. Because remember, you're not in the world. You can't even be found in the world. You know, the whole world is just to show that the illusion is true. So when you're making sex into something that's this beautiful thing, you're saying that I want, you know, really, I want to keep this illusion. I want to keep it. That's why I'm making it meaningful right now. It's actually nothing. No thing. No thing. How does that feel?
Good. Wonderful.
Good.
Let's just
If you-
be clear and neutral.
Yes, the whole world is neutral. The whole world is neutral. There's no difference between, like, that's why I did the show. You can look at my YouTube. It's actually right there in the front. It's called Sex and Sandwiches. And I was saying there is no difference between having sex and eating a sandwich. There's not a difference between the two things, okay? Because it's one, the whole illusion is one thing, and there's no one out there. There's no one out there. So when you find yourself in a situation where it seems like you're having sex with someone, or you find yourself in masturbation, thinking about someone, nothing's happening, basically. Nothing is happening. And so it doesn't need to have any meaning at all attached to it. And in fact, the memory of being a child and being guilted for it never happened. Never happened. So there's no need to apply any meaning to it and try to get to its opposite. Okay? All right, so let's go and unmute Thomas. Yes, my love.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I want to keep supporting your idea that there is no world out there. And that title, Preserving Innocence, felt really like futile, like over-efforting. And it feels like it should be called Remembering Innocence. Because if I remember my innocence, it's just me. But if I'm trying to preserve it, it feels like I'm trying to change the world. And there is no world. And if I can remember my innocence, I think that is waking up. It feels like that's when I get clear that there is just me and my innocence.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so let's talk about like how that title came about, Protecting Innocence. Okay, so in this world, that's a total meaningless illusion.
Uh-huh.
Innocence is being attacked, right and left. That's what's arising. The mind is attacking itself. The mind is innocent, and the mind is attacking itself. So innocence is being attacked. Basically, protecting innocence is just allowing the innocence to be given wherever it's showing up as if innocence is impossible. See, because that's it. In the world, in the world view, innocence is lost, but you are 100% innocent. So it's like you're protecting your own innocence. You're protecting your own innocence. It's like you already are innocent. You're protecting it in the world from an attack, from your own mind's attack.
I see. Okay, good. So we're not trying to change the world and protect innocence by like taking out pornography or having people be different out there.
That's it.
But yeah, right. But we're remembering, I guess,
Yes.
that we are completely already there.
Yes.
And I really get that.
You know it. We know it. We know it. And you know, the forgetting is intentional. The forgetting is intentional. And this whole world is set up to attack innocence.
Yeah.
So it's like when it's protected, like to give you an example, you know, someone might come up to me and go, oh my God, I did this. I'm so bad. And in protecting innocence, it's just in recognizing, oh no, you haven't done anything, whether those words come out of the mouth or not. It's like, oh no, you really haven't done anything.
Uh-huh.
Did you read my book?
The one about the school? No, the one called Protecting Innocence. I
It's
didn't.
called Unschooling for Parents, and then the subtitle, one subtitle is Protecting Innocence,
Oh,
and another subtitle is A Mystic's Guide to Awakening with Children, and that could also mean the child within.
okay. No, I haven't. It was passed around the circle one time, but no, I will do that. I will read that. So I'm glad that I understand that.
Where'd you go? I'm glad you understand it too. So, oh, it's Christine. Christine's saying hi to you. Christine V. Christine V. You probably know who she is. Maybe you could still hear me. I can't hear you. But yeah, my book is available on, well, just go through my website. It's really easy, hopejohnson.org. And then that links you over to Amazon. And then when you link over to Amazon, then you can get it on Kindle format, or you can get the regular paperback book. It's not really for, it doesn't really have to be for parents. It's just that the format of it, like the way the awakening happened for me for the most part, was through my relationship with my children. So I go through a lot of different scenarios in my book like that, and the different insights that occurred to me. And so that could be used for anyone who currently has young kids, older kids, or never had any kids, because, you know, like I like to say it, everyone is like your child coming to you, asking for you to give them the gift of their innocence, okay? And really that's how you heal your own mind. That's really how your own mind gets healed. Okay, Lori, I can't keep my eyes open. I will have to check out. You go for it. Go for it, my love. I hear you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining.
Ditto. Thank you. This past hour was so helpful to me.
Oh, sweet.
Wow. Yeah, I'm
so stoked. I'm so stoked. It's such a pleasure to connect with you.
You got something great to take to dreamland with you now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. I love you, bye. All of you, everybody.
Hey,
Aloha.
love you.
Okay, I'm taking Thomas back on again. Let's see if he can talk. Are you there, Thomas? Talk at will. Somehow you went mute.
The icon says his mic is off. There's a X over the microphone.
Yeah, that's from him. That's from his. Oh wait, I go unmute. That's from his end. I can't unmute him anymore. He has to unmute himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Okay. So if he wants to talk again, he can. Gabriella. Okay. Here's a question. Tomorrow, can you talk about this? Okay. Yeah. It's today now. As I open up more and more to the wisdom that comes through you. Well, that's actually, you know, coming through you, but that's okay. Depression sets in, and I think it's from the ego. Well, all depression is definitely from the ego, and it's very common to get this sense of depression when you're recognizing that the world isn't real, because the first thing the ego is gonna put up as a defensive as a defense is that, you know, what purpose does it have? What purpose does it even have? What is it good for then? If it's just a dream, I mean, it sucks. It's hard. What is this? I don't want this. You know, that's the really common ego thinking. And the thing is, the world, it does have a purpose. It has a purpose. The purpose is for you to undo that guilty belief that makes the world arise in the first place. So everything that comes up is for that. And, you know, that gets to be really exciting. At first, it's like there's this depression feeling. But if the depression feeling can be looked at like, this is a benefit, this is really a benefit, then it's going to unravel faster and faster, okay? It feels like the ego is dying. Yes, you can consider this death throes, like the throes of death. Like, no, I don't want to go. This is terrible. You know, when you recognize that it's all a benefit, that this is just part of it and it's all a benefit, it lets it to unravel faster in your experience, okay? Yes, like going through a mourning process. It's sad because it won't be able to control you anymore. Yes, and you know, the way we've set up the ego, each of us had set up the ego in our own mind, the way we've set up the ego is to make these defenses, because we swore through the ego's guidance that we would uphold this world. We would do everything we can to uphold this world. So the ego is there to help us do that. And this feeling sad and feeling like I don't want to know this because now I'm depressed and all that kind of stuff, that's all part of it. That's all part of, like, you know, it's almost like you swore in blood that you were going to uphold this thing. And you said, do whatever it takes to help me uphold this illusion because I don't want to die. I don't want to die. You know, it's as if it's as if you could just put death out of your mind and then get an apparent death later on. Okay. And that's no fun. It's definitely no fun compared to reality, where death can't even be allowed into the mind. Okay. So, Bob, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Not offhand.
Okay.
Are you kind of winding down a little, or?
Well, I've gone through the questions that I had, but we'll see if anything pops up. I think we covered a lot.
Oh yeah, very.
That may be enough for everyone to sit with for today.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, that's pretty potent truth.
And then Yulia just jumped on, so you never know.
All right.
Aloha, Yulia. I was just considering that maybe this is winding down. So I don't know if you want to jump on. You had a question or something like that, but we've covered a lot. And maybe you've seen it online. Oh, you'll jump on. Okay, she's on it. All right. Oops, I muted you because I saw it go unmute. Okay, there. You're good.
Hello.
There you are. Would you like to come on camera as well?
Sure. Let me do this. How do this? How do I do this? How do I do
it? I do it to you.
Oh.
I do it to you. There you are. Sort of. I see the top of you. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm in New Mexico in a hotel room.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, and I just was bringing up the same topic. My kids. I just had a conversation about that.
That's so funny.
I know. It's like I can't communicate with people, obviously coming from this, view where there are no problems, there is no money, there is no this or that, and I get caught up in my own stories again, apparently. Yeah. And I start talking like, well, yeah, but I'm still paying for his car insurance and he's 24 years old. Well, tell him you're gonna stop the car insurance. Yeah, but then he can't drive and I can't live with that. And then it's like on and on and on in a circle.
Yep.
It's like, well, but you're okay with it. I guess I am, It's like, well, he needs to become a man, but I don't think I can make him a man or I can make him do anything.
So you're just in the thought process again.
Right.
None of that's even relevant. It's like there's all these different thoughts, this dueling in front of you, and none of it is even relevant.
But I absolutely don't know how to communicate with people from this point of view. So I just carry on talking in the thought process.
Yeah, well, you don't need to know how to communicate with people because that comes automatically. It's just that you keep on making the thought processes meaningful. So you're pursuing those thought processes, and that's why you feel like you can't communicate because you're getting confused. You're taking those as if they're really real and heavy. Like it's all so heavy, like something's really happening. Like the sun is really real,
It's just like, how do I talk to people if this view will result in like no common ground with them, with everybody around me?
You don't talk to anyone. You witness a parent speaking. You don't talk to anyone. The speaking is automatic.
Yeah,
So there's
true.
no how. There's no how in it. I mean, if you wanted to have a how in it, the only thing would be is to listen. Keep listening. You listen to your own voice, the sound of your own voice. You listen to the sound of other people's voice. Listen to the feeling effect. Listen to everything that's coming up in your experience. Get the full body listening of it, and let that manage your words. See, you're trying to interfere with a natural process, with a natural unfolding. You don't have anything to do. And so the asking how is just completely confusing you.
Yeah, and I've heard that, and I know, but I don't know if I'm listening with the whole body. I have no idea.
Well, here's what I see is that you want to keep this illusion real. You're using this thing with your kids to keep this illusion real. So when you start to have these thought processes about what seems to be going on with what you're paying for and what they're doing and all this stuff, it's all meaningless stuff, but you want to make it meaningful, and that's why you are making it meaningful. You're making a choice from moment to moment to make it meaningful, because you're afraid that if you don't make it meaningful, then something bad is going to happen. That's why you're asking, how do I communicate? Because you're afraid of just letting things be, trusting and letting things go the way they go and be the way they become.
It's the same with everything else, absolutely everything else that I talk about.
Yes. That's where the question comes from. That's why
Yeah, but
you asked me.
she's listening to people all the time trying to make it meaningful. You know, your children, they're going to this, that, and the other thing, and she has to listen to them. And so then she's trying to see how she can respond to them similar to how you respond to people. But that's just another mind prison, thinking about how do I communicate to these people. The thing is to just, like you say, oh, thank you for sharing that. And then you just kind of dismiss it after that, right?
Well,
I don't think I have a choice whether I dismiss it or not, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's all arising in your perception. Your choice is whether you're making any of it meaningful. Whether you're making any of it meaningful. And you know when you're making it meaningful, when you're agreeing with thoughts or disagreeing with them, either way, it's the same thing. It's pursuing them, and that's why they get louder and louder. And you know, you're seeing it. You're seeing the whole play. Well, what if this? But then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And the only reason that can persist is because you're interested in it.
It kind of goes like this. So I have a conversation about anything, right? Let's even forget my kids. That's just a recurring one, but there are other themes, obviously. And I kind of think behind this conversation, like, I don't believe any of this. I don't feel like, I know that all of that is just a story that's just unfolding. None of it is real. But I'm going to have this conversation. And I'm just having it. And then I get like you said, interested. And then pretty soon, like, I'm start trying to like present some sort of an argument, and to trying to slip in some of what, of this view where, like, we're not really in control of anything, or any of this. And it all comes out twisted, but that's just, yeah, how it is.
Yeah, because you're trying to impart something on someone and they're not asking for it.
Yeah, but I end up doing that because it turns into like me having to like say why I don't want to do something, or or express agreement or disagreement with the view, or so it seems, because I've been told that this is how things are, and I feel like disagreeing.
Yeah. Well, if you watch the disagreement, you'll start to see where it comes from. You'll start to, when you're sensing how it feels in your body, you'll start to see what's motivating you to have to disagree with something. because, you know, your agreeing or disagreeing is really making the illusion more true. You know, nothing is really being said. That, you know, you're hearing something that's impossible. You're hearing something that's impossible. Nothing's really being said. So that takes you out of the present moment and into this mind game where you're trying to make your concept solidified. And that really gets into the realm of ego, when you're trying to get your concepts to be, you know, validated by someone else.
Yeah, I feel like today it just feels so much pressure about that, where it's like I'm having this conversation, says, well, you can do this to motivate him and do this and this and that. So I feel like I have no choice. I have to either agree or disagree. Both in this case are solidifying belief.
Choice, yeah.
And I can't, you know, so I start disagreeing, but you're saying that and I see it is the same thing as agreeing.
Yes.
I don't know what to do and how to communicate.
So you don't have to. Good. Stay like that. That's how I am all the time. I don't know. I know nothing. I'm an idiot. I know nothing. I'm not going to come up with anything on my own.
And then they start telling me, but you are such a smart and capable woman. I was like, please don't tell me that.
Yeah, it's still the same thing.
I don't believe in that either, you know. Right?
Yeah, but that's not for convincing anyone else. That's not
right.
You know,
so it turns into that again.
Yeah, that's not for convincing anyone else. You know, take that information as if you just told that to yourself. You know, come back to, this is a benefit. Because, you know, you can sense the agitation. When you're sensing that agitation within you, that's where the benefit is, because that's where, you know, that gets some compassion within you and it gets healed within you. And through that, you're extending that innocence outward. And then eventually people can't help but, you know, attest to your innocence, because you feel that way. You really feel that way. No matter what anyone's saying to you, no matter what anyone's saying to you, you're allowing for that feeling to rise in you that reflects exactly who you are, because you're having compassion for whatever feelings that are arising at the time. And that's really how it gets resolved. It doesn't get resolved by thinking about it. That's the thing. It's like stepping back from the thought processes and get into what's motivating the thoughts in the first place. What's motivating those thoughts? And they won't have any more power over you. You're giving them your power. So then it's almost like your mind is enslaved to these thought processes, and it's making your body act them out. So you're just acting them out. And it's a benefit. That's the other thing. So even having the perception of yourself, this is a big one too. This could be very helpful for you. Even having the perception of yourself, not getting it right, so to speak, it's a benefit. This is a benefit. Come back to it. This is a benefit. You know, that might be very powerful for you. No matter how you feel, bringing that illusion to that thought that it's a benefit for you, because it's helping you. It is a breakthrough, and it has already been healed. It's just that there's this underlying desire to keep the illusion going. See, it's an illusion. It's not really happening. There's underlying desire to keep it going, and you keep it going by guilting yourself.
Yeah. I get it all, but are you still there, or is it frozen? I think
No,
it's frozen.
Not frozen. It's not frozen.
Oh no, I think I lost connection.
Oh, okay, it's frozen.
What
do I know?
I'm not seeing hope.
You're not seeing hope? Can you hear me?
Oh no.
Bob, you can hear me, right?
Bad hotel internet.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Bob can hear me. All right.
Yeah,
well, I guess I'll be watching you. You'll be watching me later. It's all good. It's perfect.
I lost you. Sorry.
Are you back again?
Yeah, I just disconnected and connected me. It's bad hotel internet, I think.
Okay.
It was frozen. I thought you were silent, and then like, she's also too still for too long.
There's no blinking or anything. I don't even see breathing.
Right, like something's wrong here.
Yeah. So did you hear the part where you're, it's always a benefit, whatever you seem to be going through?
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember that too.
Yeah.
It's just like I feel I have this very close person, like my boyfriend, and I really want to communicate to him what I feel and think. But, it's like as if he's getting some of it, but not all of it or something.
Well, it's as if you need validation, really. It's not
Right.
about, he's not there. He's not there like that. He's not there like that. He's only there in perfection.
Right.
And you're making him up as someone who's not quite getting it. I know that feeling. I've projected it plenty for my husband. Okay, so I know how that is, and I know it's not true. And if you come back to what's motivating this is that you seem to need validation that you're getting it. Okay.
Something like that.
All for fun.
I have that feeling, like,
Yeah, I know that feeling is also a benefit.
Okay, the mantra. It's all a benefit.
See how you take it. See how when you take it to that's just one thought. That's the one that seems to be the theme. That's going to be the name of the show. It's a benefit, obviously, but that seems to be the theme. But that's just one thought, and there's a lot of thoughts that reflect what's true. There's a lot of thought that reflects what's true, and any of them can be used. But in the moment where it's like, like that, it's like you don't want that thought right now. You would rather have this.
It's like I just tried telling someone that it's all a benefit.
And see, whenever you're thinking of telling someone, that's just a symbol of you saying, I don't want to get it right now. That's why I'm suggesting that there's people out there.
Yeah, exactly. And I did that after complaining about something.
Yeah. Isn't that perfect? It's
because
perfect.
I'm getting all these suggestions. No, I don't want to do all that. It's all a benefit.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you find yourself saying, no, thank you, I don't want to do that, you don't need a reason. You don't need any justification. You don't need to use any spiritual concept to justify or anything like that. When you find yourself not led, it's just no. With a smile, not with, oh, I'm sorry, no. It's just like, no, that's not for me.
Yeah, I tried making up a story out of it. Like, I did that in the past and I don't like it. That's why. It's like, wait a minute. Right either. That's not it.
Yeah. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to talk so much. You could just say no. But, you do have to talk so much because all these things are running in your mind and you're following them. So that makes you explain. Okay.
Yeah.
So hooray for that. That's why it's
Right.
a benefit that you talk so much, because then you can see what's going on. That's a reflection of what's going on in your mind. You feel like you have to justify yourself. You start justifying yourself, and as soon as you justify yourself, you make yourself guilty, and you're like, oh, thank goodness I can see that.
Yes.
Christine says hi to you.
Hey to Christine. Yeah, it's like I lost in my own, like in the maze, with this.
We're all in our own mind. We're all just in our own mind. We're all just in this projected mind, projecting this experience for ourselves. We're not seeing anyone clearly. We're seeing our own projection. It's all reflection. Okay? So when it seems like someone's not getting it or someone's not feeling you, you're making them say that. You're making them say that to you. You can even look at it. Remember, nothing I say is true. You need to really get this for yourself to understand. But it's like you're making them and getting into an agreement with them and say, hey, say this to me so I can get this feeling. Say this to me so I can get this feeling. See, you don't have to make it as if they're out there saying it to you and there's something you need to do about it.
Oh my God, it's frozen again. Frozen.
Okay, I put you on mute, and if you come back, raise your hand. I'm going to go allow to talk to Thomas. Thomas, you're allowed to talk. You're on whenever you come on.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, there he is.
Frozen, unfortunately.
I lost you for a while there. I just wanted to tell you it came back on its own. And
Okay.
you just said something really wonderful. It really blessed me. When you said that we extend the innocence,
Mhm.
I really get that when we stop the story and get into it, the feeling, and get into that sacred space, that we are extending innocence. That is so beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you too, Thomas. I appreciate that. Yay. Thank you for saying that. So you know, if it resonates with you, you can just change that subtitle of my book to Extending Innocence.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't
However
understand it.
works.
Thank you. I'm glad you clarified that. I didn't understand that, but now I do. And I'm
Yeah,
going to get that book. I'm going to get that book. I really, your teaching is really resonating with me right now. It's bringing me into the next level. I'm so happy to be, around you and hearing you. I really do. I
I'm so
love you, and I
grateful.
really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Thomas. I appreciate you. It's so wonderful to share with you. I appreciate, all that you've put in. I know didn't you say you've been following A Course in Miracles for like 20 years?
Yes, yes, exactly. And it's been intellectual up to this point, but
Mhm.
really right now I'm turning a corner into experiential, and it's so exciting to
Yeah.
know that all that knowledge is getting to be worked and really owning the feeling and getting and diving into that feeling. I'm starting to get that's really where I change the story. The story leads. It's really exciting right now.
And then all of your study of A Course in Miracles starts to take on another flavor. It's like it gets integrated now.
Exactly. Integrated. That's right. That's right. And now it can extend. When it's just knowledge and intellect, it doesn't seem to extend like it does now. When I can hold space for others by not reacting, just by holding that sacred space, that is extending innocence. Oh, it's really good.
It's like you're just taking care of whatever reaction arises within you. Like that's your child right there, right now, to take care of. Because in doing that, you're taking care of all others who are really you.
Right. And it brings them back into that perfection that they always have been. It's only my overlay onto them that makes them imperfect. But when I hold that space, they become perfect again, and they feel it, and I feel it. It's glorious.
Yes, and it's like their innocence. It's already there. It's just that their conditioning in the world and your conditioning in the world. It's been attacking it all this time. And then when you're extending your love like that, it's like oh, their innocence is completely protected right here in this moment. There's no attacks are able to be made upon their purity right now, right here.
Oh, now I get you're protecting the innocence by holding that space. I'm protecting that innocence. Oh, I get that right now.
Yay.
Yeah.
I could see how a lot of people might take it as we need to keep our kids off of off of certain things. Of course. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Wow. No, I really get that. Without an opinion, I really can bless people.
Yes.
And so with an opinion, all I do is separate more and more. And I really get that from you. You really drive that home. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you too. I appreciate you.
Mm.
Okay, talk soon. I love you. Thank you for joining.
All right. Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha. Let's see. What's Yulia doing? Yulia, you back?
Yeah, it brought me back, but there's no guarantee they'll keep me here, I think.
There's never any guarantees, that's for sure.
Right.
Oh, Christine said, please tell Tom I would love to, that's Thomas, that I would love to talk to him. Okay, so there you are. Get in touch, you two. So did you have more, Yulia?
No, I'm good. Thank you, Hope.
Thank you too. I love you.
Love you too.
All right. So we'll sit for a moment and see if anything else comes up.
Don't you see Sativa has a question?
Oh, thank you, Bob. Yay. Thank you, Sativa.
Sativa.
Quick question. If the quote reason that we manifest pain, guilt, and anxiety comes from our decision to separate from God, why is it that we manifest these feelings in so many different forms that appear to distract us from the reason? Because we don't want to know. We don't want to know why. We don't want to know why. Because in knowing why, the world that we made up gets destroyed. Not in a violent way or anything. It's just that there doesn't, it can't be upheld. It can only be this world can only be upheld by pain, guilt, violence. It can only be upheld by those things. See? So if we justify those things by worldly illusions, then it makes them as if that they're real. These things are real and this world is real. But if they have no justification, okay, so we're consciously making it look like these things, these feelings are justified by worldly things. If they have no justification, the world disappears. And then all of a sudden, it's just who we are. And the problem that we perceive about who we are is that we're deserving of death. So that's like the worst thing. That's the worst thing. So it's instant death. It's not like we get to run around in a world for a while and then die at the end somewhere down the line, right? It's instant death. That's the perception. It's not like there will be, and there's no death at all. It's not in any form. But we've made ourselves to believe that we're deserving of death. So that's why we set it up so that whenever we get an uncomfortable or painful feeling, that's basically a feeling that like death is real, it's all driven by death, then it makes it look like it's something else causing it other than our own belief that we're choosing to believe in. Okay? So there's this fear of losing the world, and it's very strong defenses set up by the ego under our, per our request, you could say. We said, yes, we would like to follow your guidance. We're gonna prop you up, and we're gonna follow your guidance and lead ourselves deeper and deeper and deeper into this this idea that we're a self in a world and that we're vulnerable to worldly effects, because that's way better than what's waiting for us. Okay, we're running, we're hiding, we're running and hiding, and that's what it is. It's a total distraction. And why is it that we feel worse about things that appear to happen to us, even if we understand the main reason? Okay, that's a really good question. That's a really good question, because the more you know who you are, you start to realize who you are, it's more painful to go down that path. And the reason for that is because you want to come back now. You've made a different kind of decision. You've made a different kind of choice. You've made a choice that says, okay, I take that back. I don't want to keep on pursuing this worldly thing. All I want is to wake up. And when you make that decision, then the apparent running into thoughts, you're going to feel worse about it, because that's going to help you to come back. You're going to feel worse quicker. That's how it is for me, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad it's like that. I just, it's like thy rod and thy staff. They what is it, Bob?
Comfort thee.
Comfort me. That's right, because I know that they're meant to bring me back. I know that that's meant to bring me back. So it may feel like punishment, like even worse feeling. If I start projecting, oh my goodness, I just feel, and people can see it too. It's funny. I had a friend over one time, and he started talking about how these people who are into polyamory are so this and that and this and that. And I felt myself agreeing with him. And then all of a sudden I changed, like my whole aura changed. And he said, hey, you really changed, like right there in the moment, like what's wrong? And I'm like, I just can't go there. I can't go to judgment. These people that I'm perceiving as being into polyamory and everything like that, I'm just making them up. And if I want to have any kind of judgment about them, I'm immediately going to feel shitty about it, because that's how strong that decision is to say, you know what? No, I don't want the world anymore. I don't want the world anymore. So if I go into judgment, I can feel it. It's intense. Okay. Thank you, Yulia. She said that was a helpful example. Yeah. And so so then it comes back to, oh, okay, that's just me making things up. That's just me making things up. And then there's that openness again. Okay. And Yulia says hi to Christine. I love how you guys all love each other. Thank you. Because I don't particularly feel guilty about separating from God, but I can feel guilt arise out of otherworldly ideas. Okay, so that's the distraction. So let's put it to you again, because everyone can hear this again. It doesn't hurt to say this again. Okay, the belief that you separated from God is a hidden belief. So even when I'm talking about it right now and bringing it out in the open, still it's underlying the whole world. It's what's upholding the whole world. So then that'll make a certain kind of feeling, an uncomfortable, guilty feeling arise in the body's energy field. And from that, it projects thoughts that make it seem as if you're guilty for something else. You're not really guilty for anything. You're not really, or that thing could be making you feel guilty. Let's put it that way. You're not really guilty for anything. You're not even guilty for the believing that you separated yourself from God. There's not really any guilt in reality. That's a make-believe thing, because in assuming that you did separate yourself from God, it seems like you're going to get death. You're just deserving of death, and that's a guilty feeling. So everything else that arises, like say you thought you just said something wrong and now you wish you could take it back and now you feel guilty. That's not really what's causing the guilt. The guilty feeling was already there. You weren't able to notice it. It was already there from the self-belief that you separated, and then it made the illusion of you saying something that you regretted. So that's the distraction. So you don't find out that the feeling, all of the bad and upset feelings are coming from the idea that you separated from God and not coming from the world. And you're going to see those guilty feelings get more and more intense because you can handle it. That's why you can handle that intensity, because you want that intensity, because that intensity is like a red flag right away, and it's not letting you dig yourself deeper into the illusion and basically go toward more hellish experiences, okay? Making it more like hell. See what I mean? Because you know that if you feel the guilty feeling and if it feels intense, that's something for you. Unless you don't want to know that and you want to question it. All the questions are the same too, but you know, that's why I love having wisdom dialogues, because when you ask the questions here, you're asking the question for a real answer. You're not asking the question just to have it as a question. That's another distraction, okay? So use it as a real answer and take everything to the truth. Just bring everything to the truth. So hooray, everyone. Yay. Oh, I started a GoFundMe campaign. I did start a GoFundMe campaign. I'm not sure how to, well, I posted it on my wall. Since I'm having wisdom dialogues again, I'll just post it on my wall, my Facebook wall again. So anyone who wants to contribute to that, read up on it and see what it's about. It has to do with promoting my book, Unschooling for Parents, also getting it to people who you know, feel like they can't afford it. Maybe physically they don't seem to have the means for it. Getting it to those people. Also funding for traveling and speaking with people, for me to travel and speak in circles with people and groups. I'm doing a book signing tour. I'm going to be gone from Hawaii anyways. I think I am going to have wisdom dialogues online anyways. Bob, I see you look up like, oh, I think I am going to have wisdom dialogues online. Yeah, but I'll be traveling around the mainland.
Oh, good. You'll be able to broadcast from Sedona or somewhere exciting, huh?
Yeah, well, it'll be 3 times because I'll be gone for 3 weeks. So it'll be, well, 2.5 weeks. But it'll be once in California, once from Huntington Beach probably, once from Sedona, Arizona, and once from Las Vegas, Nevada, baby.
You're going to be in Huntington Beach?
Huntington
You're
Beach.
going to be in, what's happening in Huntington Beach?
Well, that's where I stay. That's where I'm going to stay with my sister-in-law. Yeah.
Oh, your sister is one of my best friends. She lives in one of those beach towns, and she's a friend that I went to that Mystic bookstore with. I sent you that picture of me in the Mystic, what's it called? Mystic Journey bookshop that you're going to be. And oh yeah, she lives in Huntington Beach. So she's the one I'm going to send the information about your book signing to see if she would be interested. So
Great.
she could maybe even come.
I could definitely use more events in California. I'll be there from the 5th to the 12th, and I could definitely use more events in California. I only have one set up on the 10th, so anyone that would like to help me on that would be awesome. Let's see. Have you thought of getting a Patreon page? You know what? I've been asked about that. And I asked my friend Tiger Singleton, also known as Tigmite, to help me with that. So maybe that's just a matter of time. We'll see. Not sure exactly how it works, but I think people can make monthly donations. Oh, that's really awesome. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Julia. I appreciate that. Okay. All right. And then Thomas says, what is Christine's phone number? So Christine, I don't think Thomas is on Facebook, so you guys can't communicate like that. Christine, give me your phone number and I will paste it and give it to Thomas right here on the webinar so you guys can get in touch, okay? What dates for Sedona? Sedona, I'm arriving in Sedona late on the 12th. I'll be there the 13th, 14th, and 15th. I'm going to drive to my mom's house in Bullhead City, Arizona on the 16th, but I could do something in the morning on the 16th as well. It's next month. It's August. This is all happening in August. I'm going to be in the desert in August. So hooray. And then I'll be in Las Vegas area. I'm going to be in the Las Vegas area. I'm going to be staying with my brother, little brother Pasquale, who's 10 years younger than me. And I'm going to be having a book signing at his home because he knows lots of parents. And I'm only going to be there for 3 days. That's probably all I'll do there. But I'm still open. I'm going to have a Wisdom Dialogues over there. And also the other one. I sent it on the Q&A. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll take it from this Q&A and go. I'm going to chat only to Thomas. And I'm going to type it right there. Boom. There you go, Thomas. And back to all panelists in case I chat again. So for now, check out hopejohnson.org if you want to check out my book. I did not put my GoFundMe on there. I just don't know how to do it. That's all. So I'll put that on my Facebook page for now, and I'll keep you guys informed if I have any kind of Patreon coming up or something like that. Another one is to have a spot here in Hawaii where I am, preferably a place where I stay. Like I stay there and it's big enough for a lot of people to come and stay with me. I could see that also because I like to spend time with people and kind of let them see how I live and actually be in the energy because you know, in experiencing how it's lived, I see that it's easy for people. It's easy for people. Wish you could come to Florida. Well, you know, that's a possibility too. Okay, I love you. Think that's about it. We're getting close to 5 o'clock now, and I don't know if anyone else has another question. Thank you. So until next Tuesday. And our interactions on Facebook, if you know me on Facebook, you can search for Hope Johnson Hawaii. I think I'll come up like that. I also have a lot of pages going on. I have Hope Johnson Author, Wisdom Dialogues Online. Oh, I have the Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. I have Unschooling for Parents page. And yeah, and groups. So come and join me if you're interested in that. And until next week, mahalo. Aloha and a hui ho.
All right. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you.